Hello, I'm Zoe Jane. I'm founder of Thrive Of Teaching, and I interview teachers that have taken the leap out of teaching or out of the classroom and have their own businesses. And so today I have Lisa from Lisa Love Style. She has just taken the leap and is going to share her story with us today. Welcome, Lisa. Would you
Welcome,
like
Zoe.
would you like to begin with telling us, what did you used to teach? Where have you come from?
Yeah, sure. Hi, Zoe. Thanks so much for having me on. So I'm Lisa Love Style, and I was a primary school teacher for 24 years, believe it or not. When I look back, I'm like, surely it was only 10, but it was actually 24 years. I was in primary. I taught in 2 schools in the city of Nottingham, and my last teaching career ended in July this year. So I was teaching there for 21 years. I took a step down from senior management when I had my first daughter 14 years ago, and I went back part-time 2 days a week, but decided that in July, well, actually May, because you have to hand your notice in for a half term, you have to give your notice in, and I decided that enough was enough and I wanted to build my styling business.
Wow, that is so exciting. And it is amazing, isn't it, when you taught for so many years, like over 20 years, and you do think, where did the time go? And all I've done is teach,
Yeah.
and then suddenly things happen in life and you have been able to take the leap. So tell us a little bit about your business and how you managed to take that leap out of teaching and not return in September.
Yeah, so it was scary. I would say it was scary, and I feel that sometimes if you want to take the leap, there's never going to be a right time, because you just weigh things up. And I was asked to take more responsibility on in my part-time role, and I just couldn't. And I wanted to really build the business. So I'm a stylist, a personal stylist and colour consultant. And I was juggling that with my 3 girls, building the business and teaching. And I just thought, I can't do it all. So we, spoke to my husband and I just said, I really want to build the business. I've got regular clients that come in to have their colours analysed, or I take people shopping, or I do their wardrobes. And time was such a big, it's so exciting. I love it because you see the transformation. So, and I just thought, I can't do it whilst teaching. And I was having more down days of teaching rather than up. And I thought, I don't want to get into that spiral because it's so easy to get into that spiral of not wanting to leave, etc. As in not wanting to go to work, that I thought, I'm going to take the leap. And it honestly, hand on heart, is the best decision I've ever made.
I feel like we need to go out and celebrate. We should live up with Nottingham.
It's not too early, is it?
Oh wow, congratulations on taking that leap and making that huge decision of not returning. Where did your whole business idea come from? Like, if you rewind right back to the beginning, where did this idea come from to be a stylist?
Well, so after having my 3rd daughter, I realised that I needed to supplement my income because 3 girls was very expensive, etc. But I didn't want to increase my teaching days, and I didn't want to do tuition on the side because that would impact on family life. So I signed up to be a stylist with a jewellery company. And that was great fun. Stella and Dot, it's where I met a lot of lovely friends, got amazing training. But sadly, after building the business and building a team with that, they left the UK just after Brexit. So I was like, okay, I need to do something else. What can I do? I've always loved fashion. I've always loved getting dressed. It excites me. I love seeing the transformation from when people say I have nothing to wear. So then when I show them that they can put these outfits together, like, wow, thank you. And I've always been that go-to person that people would say, can I just look through your wardrobe, or can you suggest something to wear? So what I decided to do, well, first of all, in lockdown, as you do with nothing else, apart from I was doing a little bit of teaching, but remotely, and homeschooling, I opened a boutique in my house selling women's clothing and bags and accessories. And that worked really well. I loved it, but I realized I wanted to help the individual person with their styling. So I decided then to do the diploma from the London College of Style, really prestigious college in London. Did it all online and haven't looked back. So yeah, I passed the diploma in personal styling and loved it.
Gosh.
And I do feel that there's a lot, I was going to say, there's lots of skills that are kind of transferable from my teaching. So I'm used to talking. I love talking. I love meeting people. I love connecting. And I feel like now I'm kind of educating the adults rather than the children with what style tips or what to wear or how to style outfits.
It's like once a teacher, always a teacher. It's always in there. Like we just want to give. We just want to help. We just want, you know, whether it's an adult or a child, we just want them to gain something and to achieve something. And many teachers, whatever they enter, they are helping in some way. They are helping someone else. It's just that, I don't know, it's just in our blood. It's just in our blood.
Absolutely.
There are so many skills that we have. And you say like the communication and, you know, not being afraid to talk to people and having that skill of just speaking to anybody, really. It comes from teaching, do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. And you think how many times we communicate to different people across the school day, from the adults to the parents to the people in the office to senior members, you know, the TAs, there's, you know, colleagues, there's every kind of person in a school. So any skills are totally transferable. You just got, I think for me, I just had to look what my passion was, and my passion totally is styling and helping people, empower women mostly to be their best version of themselves.
Excellent. And it's really important that teachers open their mind up to that our skills are so varied, but yet also quite personal. If you've got a passion for something, you can actually make it work. It's hard work. It's no, I don't like the word hard work at all, because teaching is hard work. It's time consuming would be a different way to look at it, rather than it's hard work.
Yeah, but when it's your passion, you don't feel like you're working, if that makes sense.
No, you
so
don't.
If I had an early start in, say, going to meet a client in London, I'd think nothing of it, because I'd be so excited to see how I can help them on their style journey, rather than just thinking, okay, it's a 12-hour day in the classroom. Well, not in the classroom, but at school. Often they work 10 hours. So, but I think nothing of, you know, because it's what I enjoy now. And also I think when you know yourself, Zoe, that when you run your own company, your own business, that you are your own boss. So you are responsible for your decisions, not anybody else. And that's what I loved. I don't have to fill any tables out. I don't have to do any assessments. You know, I don't have to do any marking, any feedback. Well, feedback, of course, I do, but in a very different way, very different style.
As you say, it's your passion, and you're helping somebody. Because you're helping somebody, you don't mind doing any of that. It's all part of it, isn't it? It's actually part of the enjoyment of of having your own business, because you want to help that person, and you don't necessarily see time for money either. Like, if you're doing a supply job, you know, you look at the clock and go, actually, my day's up, I'm out, you know. But with our own business, it's very, very different, and it's just, it's lovely. So how's your life changed from being a teacher to having your own business, in terms of it affecting your family, your work-life balance, things like that? How is it now? Because you're quite early and not going to school. How are you? You're quite fresh in these thoughts.
The girls are loving it. So it happened at a really good time, because my youngest has just started secondary school. So like the primary years are now behind her, behind the other two, and behind me. So actually it wasn't planned like that at all, but it was the perfect time. In terms of home life, we always have milk in the house. We always have bread in the house. You know, things like we would always forget, or I would be running to the shop, or just practicalities. Like the washing's always done because I'm around to do, you know, you just little things like that.
Yeah.
So the house runs so
it
much
does
smoothly. My
matter.
husband works away quite a bit, or long hours, so he's not in the house the same, and I wouldn't expect him to, you know, well, he does do a lot of the cooking, actually, saying that, but so in terms of that, it's a lot more chilled for sure. And I've got the headspace to help the girls with that. Like last night I was doing algebra with my eldest, and normally I'd be like clock watching, thinking I've got to get to bed because I've got a long day teaching. Whereas now, but I've got more energy. Like I've started running. I recently did a half marathon. So it's mindset, I think, a lot of it. But in terms of how life now, I love it. You know, and they love me that I'm around. I don't have to drop them off at breakfast club at 7:30 in the morning. They love that they can either walk to school, we share lifts, you know, everything. It's the tiny little things that are making the hugest amount of difference.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just love the flexibility. If something happens, that you get a phone call. Sometimes my mum knocks on the door. Not always at the best of times. But, you know, you've got that flexibility of just doing what life needs you to do, you know, and to be able to do it without feeling guilty or feeling fraught or, and just having that space is just amazing. I mean, I've literally just had a phone call from my 80-year-old neighbour. So after this call, I'm going to pop over the road and, that's another story. But having that flexibility of actually being there for people around you as well as your family, which is really lovely. So you started a business. How did you learn about business is my next question. So if a teacher's got an idea and they'd like to leave teaching, what would you say, it's a difficult question, but what would you say would be the first steps to making it happen?
So I do read a lot of business books, which I think have been really, really helpful. On Audible, I don't read, actually. I just listen, I consume it. So I think that's a really good point, really good basis. I would say surround yourself with like-minded people that are in the business. So we're both in a community, in a membership, which is so important.
We are.
So kind of almost find your tribe for sure. I think that's good. And then just do one small thing every single day. So I'm about to launch something new for a lot of my people in my community, and I'm making, you know, I've got a deadline and I'm working to that deadline. So I'm putting myself under a time pressure, but it excites me. I'm really excited about it. Rather than being told or you know, that I've got to do it. And I think also having that mindset that you can do it. So you are going to have down days. I mean, it's not to say that I wake up every day and I'm like, oh my gosh, let's go, you know, but just take a step back and I would say just be honest with yourself. And if you really want something to happen, you'll make sure of it. Yeah.
If you're really passionate about it and you really want it to happen and you want that change to actually be part of your life, you do need to step out and make it happen. Nobody's going to make it happen for you. There's no miracle out there. But taking those little steps at the beginning, even while you are teaching, if you can, just do an hour at the weekend just to make that bit of progress in your knowledge.
Start making connections with people, or start thinking of who you would be selling your service to or your product, and start just having those conversations. Say, would you be interested if I, you know, all of those. And as soon as I asked that question to somebody, she was like, where have you been? I need you, you know. So I'm like, okay, that, you know, so it just snowballs. And it's not I'm not an overnight success. Like, people might say, oh gosh, she's everywhere now, but I'm not an overnight success. It does take work, but when it's your passion, you don't mind.
You don't mind. No, exactly. And you talked about a community. So I don't mind talking about Charlie Day at all. I'm quite a supporter. So we met, Lisa and I think we met in a mastermind, I think, in London, wasn't it? That was run by Charlie Day. Her Facebook group is she's changed the name. What's her name now officially? Do you know? Charlie Day Sales.
Sales Made Easy, maybe. We'll have to put it in the bottom. Yeah. But then we're part of the membership.
Yeah.
And just, I think, having like-minded people where you can bounce ideas off each other is everything, because we're all, you know, it's not all just for teachers. I mean, it's just coincidence that we are, but there's all walks of life in there. And I think that's, again, a great tip, is to get involved in people that are going to widen your network.
Yeah. And it's also important that you find a community that you really resonate with, who really get you, because there's lots of business groups out there and you might not necessarily gel with the founder of the group, or, you know, the leader of the group, or
100%.
the group. Yeah. And I found actually in Charlie Day's group, there's quite a lot of teachers. When you delve a little bit deeper, you realise, oh, you're a teacher as well. And I've interviewed a few here in 5 Up Teaching, which is really, really, really lovely. Really lovely.
I think what you're doing, Zoe, is so needed. You know, you're doing so well, because it can be lonely. So I'm trying to get my sister out of the NHS, actually, so it's not teaching. But if I knew there was a group for nurses to think of different things, and I'm trying to say to her, you could do X, Y, Z. She's burnt out. She commutes to London. She lives in Brighton. You know, she works crazy hours as teachers. And I was just thinking, if there was something that she could tap into, it would
just
be
join
so needed.
But you can just talk. So I am looking into the possibility of doing monthly Zooms for my community, just so we can talk, just to give people that space and chance to connect with others. It's just so important. And I began Thrive After Teaching because I left teaching and I was like looking around in my head going, where is everybody? That's how Thrive After Teaching began. I was like, there must be other people like me who have left, and I didn't know what I wanted to do, felt completely lost, and got chatting with actually it was a friend of a friend, I didn't know it, and she went, well, why don't you just make a Facebook group? Because I was talking about it, and I thought, why don't I? So that's what I did. And I didn't know where it's going to take me. I didn't know what I was going to do with myself, but I had my Facebook group. Thank you very much, Lisa, for coming in today. Where can people find you? So Instagram.
So I'm on Instagram as Lisa Love Style, and I show up there quite a bit. I'm also on LinkedIn. Again, Lisa Love Style. But you may want, a bit like Zoe, I've built a really lovely community of women, supportive women, over in Facebook. So Lisa Love Style community, there's 1,700 women in there, I think, now. So, and that's where I show up. I give some style tips. Do some live videos. In fact, I'm going to go live today. And it's just an awesome group that I love. And I think that is another plus point that's really helped me on the journey, is that building that community, because they become your biggest cheerleaders. So
absolutely. And it's fun, isn't it? Having a community is fun. I do like it.
I love it. Yeah.
You connect with all sorts of people, and from near and far, and all sorts of, like, say, really, 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 sorry, I've got light on my face. Really, really, really good thing to do. So if people have an idea and they want to support people and they have the skills and the knowledge, open up yourself a Facebook group, because, you know, it's good for you, and it's obviously good for people that need to join your community too. So that's Lisa Love Style Community. Is that what it's called? People search for that one?
We can drop a link after this is uploaded. So for sure. But no, thank you so much, Zoe. It's been lovely chatting.
Absolute pleasure.
I was just going to say, if anybody wanted to reach out to me, you know, just to say, how did you take the leap, or etc., just feel free to, because my inbox is always open.
So. Thank you so much. That's very, very kind. Thank you very much. So I'm going to end it here. So thank you very much, Lisa, for coming in today. Thank you.